Well, hello, Rochelle. I am so excited to have you here. Welcome to my podcast.
I am more than excited to be here, Christina. Um, for anyone that's listening, I have a giant girl crush on Christina, and I have bought or invested in so much of her stationery when she had Kiki K, and just thought it was phenomenal. And when I got to meet her in person 2 years ago, like I think a little bit of blushing was happening. And to then be able to go on this journey with Christina, or from Christina's dream life to creating my own dream life, has just been magical. So to be here today with you, Christina, is actually a dream. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's so exciting. Well, we're going to go into a little bit more of detail that because both of us just came back from our second retreat together in Fiji. So we're going to talk about that because I think there was so many amazing things happening the last week. But before we get on to that, I'd love for you to share. Did you have a dream as a child, something you wanted to do or have or become?
Yes, as a child, I always wanted to be a lawyer, but I didn't understand why schoolwork was so hard for me, yet so easy for other people. And then now I do. I'm dyslexic. So, of course, like way too hard. So, after wanting to be a lawyer, I didn't really quite know what to do after school. So, I ended up doing a certificate of business, fell into advertising and marketing, completely found my jam. I love brand, I love people, I love telling the pain or like solving pain points, creating stories, doing storytelling. And I freaking love sales. So that combination, advertising and marketing, I was very lucky I fell into that. And yeah, I haven't become a lawyer yet, but hey, life's only young. So maybe one day I might.
Absolutely. But I actually, of one of all the professions that I meet people when, I do my dream life workshop, is the most miserable people is actually the people in law. And so I've been thinking a lot about that because it seems like, such a, for some of us who would aspire to be able to study that without kind of having it in a difficult way. I've been working out that most people who choose law, unless you are passionate, so they're definitely passionate lawyers. I'm not saying that everyone is like this, but a lot of people actually fall into it because it's a kind of a given when you're really clever and you do really well at school and you're not sure where you are going to go. So law is obviously a great foundation for so many people because you can go into any kind of industry. It's similar to studying
Yeah.
business, or and I also see a little bit like this with medicine as well, because if you're really clever and have the best marks, you get into those amazing schools, and then you do it perhaps because of your parents or your teachers or the peer pressure. So I don't meet a lot of happy happy lawyers. So before you decide to go there,
No, I
maybe
probably,
think
I
about
probably
why you
won't.
want to become it.
Yeah, it probably
Yeah.
will be criminology when I think about the law part, but I agree with you. I just ran a business event this year and I had some school students that we brought along with their principals. And one of them wrote this most beautiful message to us afterwards, and it actually went out in their school newsletter. And it was all around how he had never thought business was a good thing because he is not surrounded by business people. And yet, I think when you are at school, you hear about, you have doctors, you have nurses, you have lawyers, you have all of those things that you're privy to, or they're part of your ecosystem or your life. So if you don't have business people around, it was a really profound moment for me because
Mm.
I've grown up with two parents that have owned their own businesses, and to hear that from him was like, huh, how do we as business owners actually get into these schools and really shake this kind of up and show the children that business can be for good. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know. So
Absolutely. And it's funny because I think for anyone listening, there's so many different ways of getting into business. You don't have to go like I have no education in business. And I look at our son Axel, who's 17, who has his own business, started when he's 14. And now when he does like entrepreneurship in school, from teachers that never run a business. So sometimes I think by just choosing something you're passionate about and then working it out along the way is as educational, because if you're then open for mistakes and failures and all that stuff, then I feel like that's the best education in many ways.
I completely agree. I think it's also just making sure that I mean, you don't know what you don't know, which we've spoken about often. And Axel being able to learn from his business. And if anyone hasn't checked out Axel's golf website, his merch is amazing. It's like a golf club, but all around more merch and community, from what I can see. But Christina can probably tell you more. Anyway, it's very cool. But yeah, I think business just teaches you so much about
Yeah,
yourself.
it's so inspiring.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have we're so fun because he's basically doing what we did with Kiki K. You know, he's designing, he manufactures in China. We don't do that anymore because I don't want that headache, but I still kind of have it listening to him and helping him solving. And it's so, it's such a great school to design manufacture, because sometimes manufacturers do the wrong thing and print the wrong color or on the wrong garment, or the right color doesn't come out the way he thought. And these are really good decisions to kind of the problems or challenges that you're facing. That it's not make it or break it, but you still have to make those decisions. Do you take the wrong product with a discount, or do you wait and then you miss sales? So it's always like this kind of, weighing up. And I had so much of that, and Axel already had a few of those. And then the cash flow challenges, paying, like
Yeah.
negotiating, is like all that is amazing.
It is so amazing. So yeah, credit to you, I'm sure. But it's very, very cool. And the more people that can play. When we were at this retreat, Steve Hui was one of the speakers, and he said, "Business is simple. You buy something for this amount and you sell it for more. That is it.
Yeah,
Or you create a service for this amount and you sell it for more." And that's
yeah,
really basically what it is. So yeah,
yeah,
I enjoyed listening to the very basics. So if we can teach
yeah.
anybody that,
Absolutely. I think the best school is like, I often get, especially for academic parents, often ask, how do we raise entrepreneurial kids? And I'm like, let's do a lemonade stand. Because if you do a lemonade stand, you learn the basics of creating lemonades and work out what that cost and then sell it for more. And, to convince people to buy a lemonade stand next to, your house, where there's not normally where you buy, you learn the sales skills as well, which is really fun. I think
yeah,
that's the best way.
yeah, or high traffic. We do it with our kids down at our beach house. And I'm like, first of all, sit here in the neighborhood because they already like you, they trust you.
Yeah.
And then we go high area, high, like, you need foot traffic team. Come on. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good fun. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, for anyone who are listening, so we got an audience around the world for this podcast, which is amazing. So, not everyone would have heard about you yet, perhaps. So, do you want to share a little bit about your journey, because it's so inspiring? And then we're going to dial into the retreat where we met a couple of years ago, because I think this conversation will be so inspiring for anyone who might find themselves in a bit of a challenging time, or thinking that, that's not for me, or retreat is not for me. Because I think, I don't know, I felt so inspired when I flew back, and both of us were speakers this time. As a speaker, I get as much out with everyone that I meet, the attendees, as other speakers. Like it's just magic. So let's just start with your journey first.
Okay, so if we go back 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, I had left my second ex husband. We'd gone through the separation, the divorce. Um, I wasn't working at the time. I'd had 5 years off raising the children, and I had to really freaking quickly work out how to either get a job that was flexible around having three kids and being the main caregiver, and then working out how I was going to pay for everything, what I was going to do. The job thing, which was really interesting, actually was really hard to get, even though it was at the top of my game when I left work. So I'm here to preach about the power of the purse. Never give up your power of the purse. It gives you options. But anyway, that can be for later down the track.
Yeah.
So I decided that
Yeah.
I needed to work out what I was going to do very quickly. I had sat down on my bed one day, got pens and papers out because I love a felt tip, love paper, and I just wrote down everything that I loved, everything that I was good at. And it kept coming back to marketing. So I was going to create a personal brand agency, but this time I was just going to do it for women business because I know that women need different stuff than men to really stand up, use their voice, and create what I'd call their dream life. So I saw Sarah Perinelli, one of our mutual friends, had put up on LinkedIn this retreat, and it was 2 months after I had written out, I'm going to do this personal branding agency. And I thought, I need to be there. But how do you go there when you don't have that much money? Well, you be really brave and you ask Sarah if you can perhaps pay it off. So I did that and I got on this retreat and I got to come and meet you and these other incredible women that were there to really deep dive and design the dream life that they wanted. So I did that. I like zapped up like every single ounce of inspiration, every kind of like little nugget of gold that you all gave, and I came back to my New Zealand. I came back to my New Zealand. It's not mine. I came back to New Zealand after that first retreat, and I just did head down, bums up. I laser focused into how I was going to create my dream life. It did mean, not having as much time with my friends because I was building out my business. It did mean giving up some stuff, but god damn, I backed myself and I just pushed. And in those 2 years, I have created a remarkable personal branding agency. I just pulled off a giant big business event called Revved. We had the Prime Minister was unable to attend, so he sent a video for me. I had dames, mayors, business owners, board members. I had entrepreneurs, you name it. Well, I had 663 ambitious Kiwis, New Zealanders, that really want to drive New Zealand forward. I did that.
Wow.
From 2 years of sitting on my, oh, sorry, from the 2 years ago sitting on my bed with no idea how I was going to make money, to today, I'm sitting
Yeah.
in our shared office space with my team just next door. Um, and we're cranking. And we also get to design it around what works for us. So I've taken
Yeah.
your dream principles and given that back to my team. So it's just, honestly, it's mind blowing. And the power of not just believing in yourself, but absolutely backing yourself, and doing it genuinely for you and how you should do it. I quite happily say I mucked up. I've got I'm been divorced twice, but it doesn't mean I can't actually reinvent and recreate. And maybe that's been special for me. Maybe change has been a catalyst of getting me to where I am. I was able to go, what's all the shit that I don't want to take through, and what am I going to take ahead? So, yeah, I'm not saying it's easy. It's a whole heap of hard work, especially
Yeah.
owning a business. But it is so damn cool, and you're so damn proud when you see what you are building out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So seeing you on the first retreat was amazing because I could just see how you were soaking it up and how excited you were and all your dreams, all that was amazing. So to see you back as a speaker was so inspiring because not only did you come back to show everything that you actually put in place, you now had something to share with other people so that you can inspire them as well. And I walked away from your session, and I can just say, what a stage we were on. Like I have
Oh,
never like one of our friends, or like you did it as well. Actually, you spoke in your bathers, and Alia spoke in her bikini, and we were just sitting there with that backdrop behind us. I was like, pinch me. This is like I don't know if it gets any any better because, and that's why as I was the first speaker, and I said, can I sit down because I think. As a speaker, we always stand up and we always, that's always required. But I think in a setting like that, I actually wanted to be on the same level as everyone because it became more of a conversation versus me preaching or speaking to people. And I love those kind of conversation because it becomes more a community versus me and then the audience kind of thing. So I absolutely love that. And seeing you in your element and excitement, and then having created an amazing workbook, and then do another talk later on in kind of more in stage. That was so inspiring. Did you just pinch yourself as well?
I just pinched myself. It just really does go to show if you have some big, hairy, audacious goals, which Christina, you were one of the ones that were like, okay, dream. And I was like, yeah, dream. And then you're like, now dream bigger. And I'm like, holy moly. Now dream if money's not an option. Okay, cool, I can do that. So there were these really simple things that just ignited this massive change in my life. And it can happen for anybody, and it doesn't have to be about business. It can be about health, fitness, relationships, like
Yeah.
whatever that thing looks like for you. And then to be able to stand there and show the work that I had done, but also to help the people that I'm now helping because I got out of my own way. That's the pinch me moment, when you get messages that you know that you have been a catalyst in changing the trajectory of somebody's life. Like, amazing. Like,
I know.
it's
And you know what?
incredible.
I absolutely. And you know what? I always say, because people, this is one thing that I hear so commonly, and I'm sure you have come across it as well. And you, without doubt, will, with the work that you're doing, is that people often feel, I need more. I need to have the next degree or the next course or the next thing. And it's nothing wrong with educating ourselves. So not saying we shouldn't do that, but you can actually start where you are at, and to learn from someone that has actually gone through the hard yards is like
Yep.
so much better than learning from someone who's just read about it and learned it academically. I much rather learn from someone who's been similar to me, and that's why I think like your story is so inspiring, because it's not like you are, you know, had woke up one day with lots of money in your hands, or you had like 3 degrees to kind of lay back on if you needed to.
None of that.
You
All I
you just
had
had a
was,
dream. And yeah,
and I had a couple of sayings. I was going to stop putting roadblocks in my way. So for a long time, I'm dyslexic, and so that was an excuse. Well, I need to get someone to check the writing, or I need to not do that because of this. And I was like, actually, that's just a roadblock I'm putting in the way. So let's stop that. Oh, well, I can't do that until I have the
yeah,
website. No, I can have the clients before I have the website. You just need to know their pain points, know how you're going to help them. And then you have to go and tell people what you're doing. Because if no one knows, then no one's going to come and buy from you or work from you. So I did that. So even if you look at our website now, gosh, I haven't had a chance to update it. We're actually going to go undergoing a rebrand. So that's all happening. But I just think we've got to stop with the roadblock. So if there's anything that's creating that stop, really sit down, work out why, and then just push through it, because nothing is going to be
yeah,
perfect. But perfection doesn't really happen, because it's an evolution of stuff. You just need momentum. So as soon as you start
yeah,
moving, stuff happens, and then I can't explain it. It's like one steps turns into just giant hurdles you can then overcome. It's like it's just huge. So it's just get the momentum going. Yeah. And
yeah,
then
yeah. The one,
another thing I say to myself, one other thing, um, which has served me well, is mind my own monkey. So if something comes up and it's someone else's business, no, mind your own monkey. Focus on where you're going. Put your blinkers on and just go forward. Mind your own monkey. And then my very favorite quote of all time, which you will hear me preach about, is by Jackson H. Brown Jr. And it goes a little something like this: opportunity dances with those already on the dance floor. And say that
yes, I
again.
love that.
I know. Opportunity dances with those already on the dance floor. And I can tell you, as soon as I heard that, I just got dancing. I was like, I'm going to be there for all the
Yeah.
opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that, and you share that on stage as well, and I absolutely love it because it's and when you have that kind of mindset, you actually don't take criticism or any opinions for people who are not on the dance floor, because I think people who are on the dance floor do not have time to criticize other people. We are so busy dancing,
You
and
seriously are.
we also support the dance moves to other people. Like I want to support you. I want to support everyone. I don't want to put anyone down because it doesn't serve me anyway. And I'm just like, so people, because that's like a dream killer. Number one, I think in my experience, is that people are worried about what other people think. And I always say, your friends and your family, if they not are on your dance floor, don't take, even if they love you and they want the best for you, of course, but they put their fears and their obstacles into you, and they are not you. So if they choose to be dancing on the side, then don't take opinion from them, because they just want what's best for you, but it's based on their fears and their obstacles.
I couldn't agree more. But I think that coming back to the momentum thing, as soon as you start dancing, you get that momentum. You actually don't even have huge amount of time, not for your friends and family, but for those additional thoughts. You're just powering through and achieving your dream of whatever that is. So it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, just go do it. And I think one thing you
Yeah.
said beautifully, Christina, is we have one beautiful life. Like, what are we
Yeah.
waiting for?
Yeah. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I just ran a workshop before I jumped on this call. And I do a couple of exercises. One is to write down every year, even though you can do this in your head, you don't have to write it down, but it's very powerful to write down your age in 10 years' time,
Oh,
because it's kind of
who
a,
wants to do
especially,
that?
I think it's yes, it's a really good one to do, because even though we know, you know, if you're 50 now, you're going to be 60. If you're 40, you're going to be 50. Like, that's kind of given. But then if you really think about, what could you accomplish in those 10 years, if you really think about it, and what does it mean when you are that 10 years older? So for me, for example, I will have a 24-year-old and a 27-year-old, and that's like, no, I need to make sure that I do all the dreams with my children now. And that's why I'm like, I don't really care how I live in 10 years time, because the kids will likely be living their dream life in their own homes. So I'll be like, I want to spend money on them now. I want to do all the adventures. I took Tiffany to Fiji, because,
PG.
and yeah, I had to push her, because she wanted to be at school, because she's suffering this week because she's doing all the assignments and all the tests and things for her year. And I know it's painful, because she didn't have as much time to study, and she's been up early. But I said to her, you will never remember this, well, you're unlikely to remember this week, but you will remember last week in Fiji for the rest of our life. And so doing that kind of exercise, knowing that your children will be living their dream life, and also parents, if you're lucky to have parents or grandchildren, or grandparents, or even pets, like, it's a good reminder for all of us that now is time to be on the dance floor.
I actually think that that was a little bit of a moment for me. I have been so busy, head down, and my mum is just the most beautiful person in the world. But her and I used to catch up all the time and talk all the time, and I've kind of let that slip just while I've been so busy. So
Yeah.
I am going to go and have coffee with my mum. That is what I'm going to go and do.
Nice, nice. And you know what I did when I started doing this exercise? This is probably, it's many years ago now when I started this exercise, and now I run it every time I do a workshop. I run it because it just makes people think. Sometimes the coin really goes down when you when you say things like this. And I also then calculate based on what we think we're going to live to, and then work out how many months, because years, we often think years, how a year can take a long time. But if you calculate, how quickly a month, I don't know about you, but I felt like October just started and we're just getting to the end of it. It just goes so quick.
I
So
felt
when
like
I
that with
did
this
these
year.
exercises many years ago, yeah, I started to. So my mom is in Sweden, so I decided to send a photo every day. I don't do it every single day because sometimes I don't get to it, but as much as I possibly can, I send her. It's not Instagram quality photos. It's like what I'm eating for breakfast or what the kids are doing or whatever. It's just everyday life, and now my sister is in it, and my nieces are in it, and they have children now, so it's nice to for all of us to see kind of the daily life that we otherwise might miss. So there's so much benefit to really think about, where are we all, like as a family, as a friend group, as a business in 10 years time, and make
Yeah.
sure we prioritize based on what's important now.
Oh, I'm going to do that. Like, I really am going to think about that. So, thank you for giving
Yeah,
me that little
yeah.
gift. That's awesome.
Oh, it's so good. So what else we're going to talk about from Fiji? I think another thing that really got me last week in Fiji was the power of actually going away. So I love going away. I go away all the time on my own, but having being a few days with people, because when you meet people at an event, you meet them quickly and you don't really have to go deep. Like we bumped into each other many times and had conversation, and we came up with something that I don't think you expected. I certainly didn't expect it in terms of
Nope.
we were sitting on this boat, and this would be worth sharing because this could be a life-changing moment, because I think your productivity is already unbelievable, and imagine what it's going to
Yep.
be in 2026. So lovely Rochelle had a few drinks the night before, and she came sitting next to me on the boat out to this incredible island that we were going to for the day, and she had this big packet of biscuits, and the first
Yep.
thing I did was look at the ingredients. I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to eat that. And then you shared what you did. You had a few drinks, and that's why you needed this. And then I shared that I was doing an alcohol-free year, and some people love hearing that. Some people think it's most ridiculous. So it doesn't really matter what anyone is thinking, but you got excited to think about, what if I did that? So maybe do you want to share a little bit what you were thinking and what you are thinking for 2026?
Yeah, I think one of the most okay. I'm I enjoy drinking. I enjoy having a glass of wine. I enjoy having a beer. I actually doesn't seem look. I'm sure it affects me, and I know it affects me, but it actually doesn't affect my productivity. It doesn't affect my mood swings. It hasn't affected my sleep. So I can achieve a lot even if I have a few drinks. But what I had heard earlier in the year is someone said that imagine what you could achieve if you didn't drink. And then when I was eating these biscuits, which were, by the way, were kind of like melting and they weren't even great, but I just needed something sugary. And Christina and I were chatting about it, and she said, imagine what you could achieve if you didn't drink. And she explained about her year of not drinking. And then, also you explained about your 3.5 years of not drinking before and how you kind of came around it. So there were these little plants, like seeds being planted, and then when we were sitting on the island, Tiffany actually came down and sat with us. Tiffany's Christina's 14-year-old. And she was saying how much she loves it when her mum doesn't drink and how she really appreciates the time that she has with her mum, that her mum can come and pick her up or drop her off at any stage. She just knows that her mum is there, which is, I think, really special. So I kind of took that on board
Yeah.
too. And I did think, well, I wonder what I could do if I didn't drink. But then part of me on the
Mm.
way back was like, okay, but hang on a second. We've got this happening and this happening. And then, oh, we've got my friend's 50th. And then we've got Christmas and obviously New Year's. Oh, hang on, Christmas business drinks. We've got Thursday because, you should have a drink on Thursday because it's Thursday, Taco Tuesday. And I could list off a million reasons of why I could have a drink. And then I thought, but maybe there's special, this little gift of not having a drink. So Christina kind of gave me the challenge that maybe for a whole year I could not drink. So I haven't not committed, but I have also, it's there. So when I was on the plane leaving Fiji, the whole day in my head, it had been the quote, and I don't know which way around it is, but it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Day one or one day. And so I'm walking through the airport. Is it day one or is it one day? Well, one day is quite good because it's another day I could have another drink. Or is it just day one? So I then wrote myself a little note on the
Yeah.
plane, and it was Vinaka, which is goodbye or thank you in Fijian, Vinaka to drinks. And it's only been a few days, but I haven't had a drink yet. And I don't think I'm planning to for a wee while. Work in progress. So, yeah,
Fantastic. I love that.
so from coming back from that retreat, that was nothing I expected. It was nothing that
No.
I would have achieved or the gift I would have been given if I had just been to an event or we had just caught up. It was over the few days. It was maybe the universe putting us next together on that boat ride. Maybe it was so many maybes and maybe things, but it just really, it was a real gift. So I'll touch base with you and let you know how
Yes,
it
we'll
goes.
have you back. We'll have you
Yeah.
back in 12 months' time and we'll see how you go. And it was also interesting because then you inspired other people to do the same. So we got Louise joining
Yeah.
us and a couple of others actually who wanted to come on our little, we call it our AA meeting. But we'll change it to a bit because it's not really AA. It's more a inspiration to, maybe spend a year doing something different because
Yeah.
you are very lucky but also unlucky because it doesn't affect you. It certainly would affect you body wise. That will be
It
crazy not to think
happens.
because
Yeah.
it's really toxins that you put in your body, but you're lucky that it doesn't affect you that much. But I think it really affected me, and that's why I just really affected my sleep, and that's really drove me. So it's even harder for you who sleeps well anyway, and it doesn't affect your mood and anything like that. So
Yeah.
but I do think that you will after a few weeks you will get up earlier, and you will, body wise, you just feel it. So I am very excited to see how you go, and let's have our little get together on the first and see if we can make a decision for at least for
I
for
know.
at least a couple of months and see.
I think it just comes back to that, people aren't stuck. It's just the choices that they make, right? So
Yeah,
I kind of feel very excited about the choices I now perhaps will make or can make or opportunities that will come up from not having the drink. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it
yeah,
very much. Um, and Christina,
yeah,
can you tell us
yeah,
just a little? Can you tell us a little bit about your story of like you're now? It's end of October, so you've done 10 months of no drinking. What is?
yeah.
Gives me some tips and tricks.
Uh, I mean, so my personality, so everyone will be different, but my personality, I'm very much all or nothing. So when I make a decision, I am really making a decision to stick with it. So that works much better for me than just that one day at a time. So I made a decision at New Year, and I was thinking, I am in my 50s now, and I have had plenty of amazing wines. Wines is the only one that I kind of wine and champagne is the only thing that I really miss,
Yeah,
if I miss any of it. But the I had so much to drink in the past, so I feel like one year it's not gonna, like, it's not like I can start um again if I want to. I know, of course, I can start anytime. It's just I'm just doing it for me. But
yeah,
I find it much better to make that decision. So I made that on. So I had a drink on New Year's Eve, but when it switched over to 12, I haven't had a drink since. So that's kind of how I made a decision. And then what I do is like, what I love and what I miss the most, one, obviously the taste with certain wines. So I was saying it's hard to have Italian. When I go to Melbourne, I try to go have Asian because I don't often feel like red wine with Asian, and I can have an alcohol-free beer. But so I try to avoid that. But of course, I don't. Sometimes I do have Italian because I love it, but it's harder because I really associate a good
that
pasta with a
goes so
glass of red.
nicely
And the
coming together.
and the other thing that marries really well is always oysters and champagne. It's another one that's really difficult. But other than that, I what I miss the most is kind of that social thing, or even having that kind of break after work. So me and
Yeah.
Tiffany often, she's only 14, so she obviously doesn't drink, but she and we will have a kombucha in a wine glass together, and we'll sit down and say, oh, let's have a drink. And I
That's
often, when
lovely.
people are don't feel like one, you feel like that it's a different, it's because sometimes water is a bit boring, and it's good to drink lots of water, but if you want to do it, have an alcohol free beer or a kombucha, or any, like I was having a pina colada alcohol free, because Steve Pirinelli is also alcohol free. So, and then there was three pina coladas coming in, one for Sarah that had alcohol in the two. And I said, wouldn't it be great, Steve, if they mixed them? So we automatically didn't know, but I'm sure we would have tasted that if that was the case.
Yeah, I'm sure
But
you
I
would
think,
have.
yeah, but just having that replacement, so you kind of feel part of it, because I think the social aspect is what people find difficult. Versus, I actually find when I travel on my own, I would often go to the airport bar and sit and have a glass of red with my journal. So I really miss that more than the social aspect. So if that's for anyone listening, that's a really good tip, to just have an alcohol-free beer, or some an alcohol you can have. I don't never been a cocktail person, so for me, cocktail is just really sweet when you don't have alcohol in it. So for me, that's not something that I go for. But you could do that if you like that kind of drink. And then the other thing that really helps me is to write down, why are you doing this? So this is something that I do with everything
Yeah.
that I want to change. I really love a challenge and a hard change. So then I write a document, and I actually read that for the first, I don't do it anymore because now it's gone 10 months, but the first few weeks when it was still summer here and there was a lot of opportunities to have a drink. I mean, that's an opportunity to have a drink every day.
It's like
So
every day.
but
Yeah.
yeah. And if people say, you need to celebrate, I'm like, every day is a chance to celebrate. So for me, it doesn't matter if it's a Monday or a Saturday, or like I always feel like there's an opportunity to drink or celebrate. So when you have that mindset, it's very likely that you drink a lot. Like, when I say a lot, every day, frequently, versus perhaps a lot.
Yeah.
But I found that writing that document, so that's something I encourage anyone listening, but also to you, to write down why you're doing it. Because you just, if you put your top three for the year for 2026, what you want to accomplish, and you say, this is why I'm not drinking, because I am going to put all my energy into these three top things that I'm going to accomplish this year. And then if you do read that every day, it's so much easier, because then you'd be like, actually, I don't really, now it doesn't bother me one little bit. I forget about it. And it's really good, because when I was in Fiji, I was up really early every morning, and I had that first couple of hours in the morning when the cafe at the adult
All
place where
opened.
we had
Yeah.
breakfast, I
6:30.
was sitting there
Yeah.
on my own every morning. And Steve was often there as well. It was us two who were not drinking, and I just love that. You sleep better, you feel better, and you get fitter. And I just you will really notice that you will have an energy, and you will want to wake up earlier, and you will just use the energy that you used to have for drinking. You'll just put into your business and to your health and well-being.
I know I'm really looking forward to the fitness part of it. I have probably with growing the businesses. No, I haven't probably. I have 100% not prioritized going to the gym or going out for a walk. So I'm excited to really prioritize that and actually plan out how
Yeah,
I am going to achieve those top three things. Because I've got some
yeah,
pretty big goals this year this year coming that I want to achieve. So
yeah,
one of the big things is with the businesses, when you start a business, sometimes when you're a solopreneur or you start off as a solopreneur, you almost have created yourself a job, like a really big job, rather than a
yeah,
business. So
yeah,
over the past 6 months, I've been pulling back from creating the very big job. I've now got team members that have come on
yeah,
board and that are helping me. So I really have to prioritize building out our processes, our systems, our
yeah,
reporting mechanisms, and building the job into businesses that don't need me on a day-to-day level. I mean, I can be in them on a day-to-day level, but they don't actually, for them to be a business, they can't have me on a day-to-day level. So that is my next 12 months goal, is to make sure that I have really focused on that, and got everything so slick. It's also would be really nice for my team members to have all of that so slick and out of my brain,
Yeah.
so that they can do their jobs really really well. So
Yeah.
yeah, so the next 12 months are focusing on that, setting my team up for success, getting some new clients, and then really working towards my speaking career and making sure I nail how I deliver,
Yeah.
the messages that I want to share, and then how do I share that on a bigger impact.
Yeah.
So I did say to you, I'm kind of, I suppose, going to do a little bit of a trial. It's an experiment, giving up the booze to write a book. So the time that I would spend having a glass of wine at night, maybe I put that into writing a few words
Yeah.
and see where that comes. So
Yeah.
I'm quite excited. It's like Beauty and the Beast, but it's the booze in the book.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
so
love
that
that. I love
yeah,
that.
so a little bit of a challenge, but I think it is. It's just a change in step, and it's exciting. Most change for me is exciting, or it's an opportunity to do something differently.
Yeah.
So yeah, here goes. Like, cheers with my pink drink bottle to
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Cheers for my lemon water here
Yeah.
next to me.
Would
So,
you would you like to give me a few tips on how, well, you've written books before?
mhm.
What would be your top two or three tips on how I get started?
Yeah. So I started. So what I did, but so I'm just going to share how I did it, and then it might trigger some things that you could take on. But everyone obviously is different. But I do a lot of journaling. So I actually started with going through all my journals, which which had, because I've always invest in coaches. So I had Robin Sharma as my coach. I've always done a lot of journaling, a lot of coaching. Yeah. So it's been really, so I went through those journals to start with. So I might take a step back. So I actually went away. This is something that you might want to do. I went away for 2 nights to a hotel. So I was living in Sweden at the time with the family, but we were opening stores in London. So I kind of commuted to London. It sounds super glamorous, but it was hard work because it's quite tiring to go to another country every week, and then surrounded by, like, I was working long hours there and doing events and all these kind of things, and then I would come back and I still was doing my creative director role for the business. So I it was hard to do it all. And then one day I came back to my hometown in Sweden where we were living, and I was tired, and I had a meeting with my Australian team the week after to present the themes, the colors, all those kind of things, the trends. And I was like, I just didn't have anything in me. So I said to Paul, hey, I know I just got home, but I'm going to go away for a couple of days. I need some space to think. And, I could, he completely got it, but I could see other people around me that were like, that's weird. She's going away for 2 days on her own. She just got back. And, my kids were really little. So I went to the next town where I knew people, but not as many people as my hometown. Took into a hotel. The first 24 hours, all I wanted was to go home. I'm such a home. I love traveling, but I'm also a real homebody. And all I could think about was like, I just want to go home. I just want to. And I brought my candles, my teapot, and I feng shui the hotel room, and I did all that and I did not. So I brought my phone in case the kids needed me. So I
Yeah,
checked it once every day, but they also knew where I was, so they
so
could
they
have
could
got me
ring.
if they needed to. But so I put my phone away. I didn't bring any books. That's actually harder for me than I love reading, and that's kind of my company when I'm on my own. So I love reading, but I didn't bring any book. I brought my journal only and a pen, and so the first 24 hours, all I could think about was going home. And then I thought, I'm just going to stay for 24 hours and then I'll probably go home tomorrow. And then, so it was at a hotel where they also have a great spa, and they had meditation and like pools and saunas and all that stuff. So after 24 hours, I was like, oh, actually, I feel good now. It was just the first 24 hours, it was hard. And then I was in the pool, and then I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a book, because I did a lot of speaking before as well. I'm now speaking much more, but I did a lot of speaking. And I always had about 5 people roughly come up after asking for more, like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And you never have enough time to speak to them, and you don't understand their circumstances. So I thought of that when I was in the pool. I was like, I'm going to write a book about how I can help people live their dream life. So I got home, got back, and then I said to the team, I am going to I'm going to write a book. And everyone first thought it was the Kiki K story, and I'm like, no, that's not done yet. So we're right in the middle of that. So I said, no, this is going to be about helping people create their dream life. And so I then decided, and my team, because we worked with a lot of publishers, we had an option to go that route. But I'm an impatient person, and I think you are similar to me. Like publishers is like, it's like it's so long process, and and I'm sure that will change over time. But I do think that as an entrepreneur, I wanted to have it in the next 3 months. Like I wanted to
Oh,
launch a book quickly.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started looking through all my journals to kind of see patterns. So the patterns were dreams. I always wrote down dreams. My other thing was passion. I just want to do what I love. Like I always had that. Like there were certain things in business that I didn't love. I outsourced that really quickly. So doing things you're passionate about was to me really important, because it's so much easier to create a business and a dream life if you love what you do. And then the other thing was values. Once I got really clear on my values, I had no more guilt about spending money, going to a health retreat or retreat, travel. All that got really clear to me. And I spent so much money on personal development, on coaching, on books. And after I knew what my values, because that was really high up there, I got really clear. And then the last one was purpose, to kind of wake up and get excited about what you get to do. And for me, that's like I did that in my previous business. I do that even more now in my new business. So that kind of formed then the pillars. So I'm a post-it note girls. I'm a visual person. So I started and like there was a purpose, there's a passion, and there was like, so then I started to think about what do we need when we work out our values. So then I've done so much work on that. So it's basically that's how I started. And then I started to write about it. So I found that really it was a really good process for me. I'm not an expert writing books, obviously, but it worked really well for me because it was things that I already knew and things that I had stories around. And then Paul, my partner, he's really a good writer compared to me. So then passed on to him. And because he lives and breathes similar things and being part of it, he could add to it. And then we had a professional editor who knew to put better structure together. So that's kind
Okay,
of how I
cool.
did it. And the
It sounds
and I
exactly
just
how I should do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. So then I just decided that I will write a little bit each day because I wanted to do it quickly. So I'm a morning person, so good coffee. Just wrote a bit, and I was like just showing up consistently without the expectation to write a whole chapter, or just be like, hey, this is my writing time. So 90 minutes is a really good block to kind of focus, put yourself away. Like, don't be with your team that could come and interrupt you, because I feel sometimes you are on a flow and then you want to continue. But I love the walls because as a visual person, and I feel like I'm looking at it now, like my whole wall in front of me is full. My coaching program is there, all the books in my 2 different book clubs, everything is in front of me, so I can then move it quickly. I don't love I've put everything eventually into spreadsheets
I
because
know
that's much
doesn't my
easier.
brain doesn't work like that. It needs to be on the wall. It
Yeah,
needs to be pretty. And I think also for visual people, that's actually how you remember it. I can
yeah,
remember everything because it's there, or I've
yeah,
moved, or I've drawn a
yeah,
little picture. So
yeah,
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that gold. I love the idea of taking myself away for a couple of days to getting
yeah,
really clear on it.
yeah.
Because that's
And
the thing
leave
I
your
have.
phone behind if you can.
Yeah, that I can definitely do that.
Yeah,
Well, maybe check it once a day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think it's because it's so easy to get influence, and also most of us have that, like, because we have so much access to technology now, it'll be easy to just stop doing the research. And the research, you could say, hey, I'm going to spend I'm going to spend a week to do the research, and you do the research. But then when that's done, because you can actually research your whole life, and so you might want to, have, for example, you might want to have some science behind it, so you want to check those kind of things, and that's all valid. But you could basically do that for the rest of your life. So you want to say, hey, my research time is this time. I need to do whatever I need to do in that time, and then I'm going to start writing, because otherwise I just feel like it's easy to have an excuse to be on the phone. So when you go away, leave the
Yes.
phone home if you can, or check it once a week. It was not once a week, once a day.
Yeah,
But also know, if your family knows where you are, they can always get in touch with you if they needed to anyway.
they
And then
can.
you don't have the temptation to be like, oh, I need to check that quote, or who wrote that quote, or whatever. It's like, nah. And then you just have a list of things that you need to check. And then you say, when I get home, I can spend a day doing all that.
Checking on that
Yeah.
stuff.
Because it's like,
Oh,
it's very liberating to have that freedom of, 3 days, 2 nights, or whatever longer if you can, and go for walks and go and have yoga. All that stuff is so inspiring. But don't bring any books, because then you have no temptation. A journal and a pen
I was
and
going to
some
say,
clothes.
I'm sure if I took a book, I'd be like, God, I just want my book to be like this book. How do
Yeah,
I copy
exactly.
this book to be like my book? Like,
Yeah, no, it's really good. So
it's
that's a little
so
bit of a
wonderful.
tip for anyone who are listening, who might. I think everyone should write a book, because the process is hard, but it's also incredibly rewarding. It's like a business. It's like, it's difficult, but it's also so rewarding. And then what's most rewarding is when people come up later and said that your book made a difference. And people often write to me and say, I'm sure you're sick of this. I'm like, never sick of
No.
this, because that's the best compliment you can get from a book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so beautiful. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for sharing that with us.
It's an
Like, I
extra pressure. And
appreciate
let me
you.
know if you need an accountability, because I can keep you on track.
Yeah, well, it's be like chicken, no wine,
I know.
paragraphs written.
You're just
Like,
gonna associate me with pain.
well, maybe I should. It's progress, not
Absolutely,
pain.
progress, not
Yeah,
perfection. And also,
yeah.
I think most of us wants like the best. But I think Sarah shared. I don't know if she shared it with you or someone else, but she said the first book is just your first book, and then you can do the second and the third or whatever. So don't. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I think I read so many books, and I just love hearing about people's stories and journeys, and some inspiration from that, from each book. That's all you need to. You don't have to be a New York Times bestseller, the first one.
Well, no, okay. I'll put
Maybe,
that on hold. But
maybe,
yeah,
but you can put it on there. I put actually a picture. So I knew, because I'm a visual person, I knew that I wanted it yellow, because I knew that I would be. I did all the research, self-publish or publish. So I did all of that first, and I wanted to self-publish because we had a lot of stores. I knew we could sell a lot of books through that, and I also knew, because I speak with publishers all the time, that they would like to have a photo of me. They sell much better if there's a photo, but I did not want that. So I just got a designer to put up the cover. It wasn't the final design, but I knew he wanted to yellow, because yellow never sold at Kiki K. So I wanted to have it because it was my happy color. And I thought, I don't really care about this. This doesn't have to be a bestseller in the store. So I knew I wanted no photo, and I knew I wanted a bright yellow. And then I put that cover in Oprah's hands. So I put it on the fridge, and I'm a minimalistic person. I don't want anything on the fridge, but I put that on the fridge. So every day I saw it, just to remind me that maybe one day I'll be sitting with Oprah talking about my book.
have you done that yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so we've got chance for that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
funny you say about the yellow, because I did buy your book from Kiki K, and then I think I also, was there like a yellow journal that I could buy
Yeah.
with it, or there
Yeah.
was something, and a
Yeah.
pen that also had the white spots on it, and
Yeah.
it's like, so
Yeah.
I was down with that whole thing. I was like, dream life, hell yes, I'm in for that. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the
We
yellow, I
created it.
think, was beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I have so many exercises in my book, I decided to do a journal at the same time.
Yeah.
But I can also help you with the publishing and things, but we won't go through that today, because I'm conscious of your time to go to your boys'
Sun.
match. So
Yeah.
before we finish, I want to ask three really quick questions. One, what's your morning ritual? And or maybe even more exciting, now when you are not going to drink, you might be an earlier person. What is going to be your morning ritual?
So I'm not going to change my morning ritual because my morning ritual is having 15 minutes of cuddles with my partner.
Yeah.
So if the alarm goes, we set it for a little bit early and I like roll into him, or if he's awake, he'll roll into me, or half the time we're together. But so we just spend the first 15 minutes just laying in each other's arms, and it is the most beautiful way to start the day. So I'm going to keep that
Yes.
as my morning ritual. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. And once you are up, do you have you got any specific things you do?
Usually, because we've got kids, I have 3 kids and 3 stepkids. So,
Yeah.
depending on how many kids are with us, it is up, coffee, help with lunches, get their day started, school
Yeah.
drop offs. But I usually put on some good music. So, I start my day with a bit of music, is
Yeah.
what I enjoy. And then I am going to start after, if I have to do kids drop offs, going to the gym or going for a walk and
Yeah.
actually getting the exercise done and getting my
Early.
blood pumping early. So that
Yeah.
is going to be my change. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. Fantastic. And have you got a favorite nonfiction book or a book that had a very big impact on you?
Yes, so nonfiction is my absolute favorite. I just want to be learning all the time, and I
Yeah.
highlight the books and I
Yeah.
share the books and I give the books to the next person with all the highlights and stuff. But one that I just adore is Into the Magic Shop by Dr. Oh, thank you.
Dr. Let me just have a think. It's Dr. James Doty.
Brilliant. So you've got it over there.
Yeah.
Fabulous. So it is just a book of wonder and magic and neuroscience and just everything. So I don't want to give too much of it away, but I think it is a book that everybody should read.
Yeah, absolutely. It's on my list to read in my. So I have two book clubs, one for business and one for personal growth, and it's on my list. I haven't decided when, but it's definitely on there because it's a great book, and his new book is also great. But it reminded me actually, but when you said before that one of your top three for 2026 is to systemize things and put procedures into your
Yes.
business. There's a really good book called The E-Myth. I don't know if you heard of that. It's by
No.
Michael Gerber. It's one of my I read that. I read that years and years ago when I just started Kiki K, and I implemented that book, and that's how we were able to scale retail wise, but also business wise. So definitely
E-Myth.
get a copy on
Okay.
that. Yeah,
I will
I'll
go.
link to both of these books in the show notes as well for anyone listening.
And also
So
your
yeah.
book. I think we should link your book too.
Oh,
If
thank you,
anyone
thank
hasn't got it,
you.
you need to read it.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So my final question to you is, knowing what you know now, what kind of advice would you give to your younger self?
Don't worry about what anyone else thinks.
Yeah,
This is your one beautiful life, and that you can actually do it your way because
yeah,
your way are the qualities that other people just might need.
yeah,
So, one of my values is kindness,
yeah,
and I try and do everything with kindness. And since I openly said that in a business sense, it has just made a huge difference. So,
yeah,
please, please do things. I was to my younger self, just do it your way because you're actually a bit of magic.
yeah. I
That's what it'd
love
be.
that. I love that. That's so good. And isn't it so true? Because I think one of the things that I really, really value, having had a business that became quite big business, now I just want to keep things really small, and I just want to travel the world, speak, share, learn, meeting inspiring people like you around the world. That's kind of my life now, and I love that.
Oh, I'm down for that. That sounds
Yeah.
wonderful. Christina, you are an absolute, I think I wrote, you're gold dust. Like you
Oh,
just have this incredible joy and love and genuine self that you turn up with, and you really do make a difference in the people that you touch and that you're so open with. So, thank you so much from everyone that has got to experience a little bit of you, on behalf of me, thank you so much. And if
Oh,
I can leave everyone with one last thing, there's that quote again: opportunity dances with those already on the dance floor. This is your sign to go and get dancing.
yeah, I love that so much. Thank you. And you are also such a gift. And what you're doing with your business, helping people to create their personal brand, is so amazing. And I think that's actually so necessary now when AI is coming out, like more, not coming out, when I say coming out, like AI will be automated so many of our things, but there will always be us as unique individual humans, will always be room for that. And I think having a person brand is like a no-brainer now. So I'm super
Yeah,
excited to see in your space. And thank you so much for
you're so
all the
welcome.
inspiration and for coming on my podcast. And I'm excited about your year ahead. And I can't wait to have you back in about 12 months' time and
I
see how
know.
you went.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.